What a Wild Spirit Brings by Lil, Chapter 10. When she got up, Mitten was sitting on a stone bench under a tree nearby reading some papers. There was a girl in a white dress with a yellow hem standing near her. Lil stretched like a cat and dropped down. "Oh," Mitten said absently, glancing up, then returning to her reading, "the sleeper awakes." "Is it late enough to visit Demene yet?" "It is, but I am doing something. Percy, please take this Entha to visit the understudy Demene." The girl turned and started walking away, motioning for Lil to follow. The Haldani stated that she would find her later as they left the outdoors and entered the building of many halls and rooms. They seemed to cross it and left the outdoors on the other end of the cathedral. Then they crossed a courtyard and some yards that looked like they were for weapon practice, and one an archery field. Then they were almost to the white wall, but an end with no gates. There was a building half the wall's height there with more windows than walls. Inside was a small room with a list of names covering the main wall with numbers next to the names. Demene's number was 127. Another girl's name over hers was the same number, Janice. They traveled to the first floor in the 27th room. Then the girl left Lil standing there, trying to figure out what she was going to say. The last Demene had known she was a wild girl. Now she was an Entha, and royalty, and clothed, and friends with the Haldani, and light. How to try to explain why she had crawled around? What words could tell why she had spoken not a word before? She missed Demene, but she also felt fear crushing her chest and drying her tongue. What if Demene was not in forgiving mood? She knew Demene could be hard. She breathed deeply, eyes closed, emptied her mind, and knocked on the door. When she heard someone moving inside toward it, she almost ran away. It opened, and Lil almost cried. "Hello, who are you?" This must be Janice. Damn. "I'm looking for Demene. Janice, do you know where she is?" "And you are?" Janice asked, distrust and guard twisting her pretty face. "Light!" Lil heard Demene's voice to her left, but before she could even turn to see her face, the girl crashed into her, her arms wrapping around her for a few moments. Then Demene pulled away, putting Lil's face in her hands and looking at her like she didn't believe what she was seeing. "You survived! And you are here! And what are you wearing? You are wearing Entha earrings! You know that, don't you? Take them off this instant, wild girl!" She started to actually reach to rip them out herself, disgust in her face, but Lil reached up and stopped her, clutching her hand. Anger filled Demene's lovely blue eyes. She shoved away from her with crossed arms, looking like she wanted to yell. "Please, Demene, listen to me." Demene's eyes widened in shock, then narrowed and burned, while her head lifted. She was worse than angry. She was fuming. "You aren't a wild girl." "I am Entha by choice, Andry by birth. I was wild, though, when you found me. I really was, I swear." "Swear? Why didn't you tell me? Me!" "I was going to once the ship landed and we weren't sick anymore." "Who is this?" Janice asked suddenly, softly, as if she was afraid of the answer, tears building up in her eyes. Demene stepped to her and put a hand on her cheek and looked her right in the eyes and said coldly, "She is no one of consequence, just a liar I wish nothing to do with." Lil stomped her foot in frustration and turned to leave. Mitten Haldani was standing there watching her. The other girls suddenly were scrambling behind her into a still statuesque dance with heads down, facing the Haldani. "You may return to your cell, children," Mitten Haldani said. "And you, friend, please come. The powers requested to see you again tomorrow, and we must get you fed and clean for the audience." There was a gasp from Janice, and Demene looked like she wanted to kill Lil, and as if she had died to all emotion toward her at the same time. They both entered the room and shut the door, and a tear slowly traveled down Lil's face. "Come, friend, they are beneath you, and you have more pressing matters to concern yourself with." "As you say, friend," Lil muttered while she turned to follow the Haldani away from Demene in her wrath. When they were crossing the archery field, there were two Haldani there, shooting at targets of clay that would shoot out from the earth, from small holes in the ground. They saw Mitten and Lil and stopped their practice. "Mitten Haldani, please, will you show Moultrie some moves? She's taking up the bow," called a Haldani with a red stone, "and you are just the person to inspire her." "I'm busy at the moment, I'm sorry, but perhaps another time." "No," Lil said. "I would like to see you shoot, if you would like to, friend Mitten Haldani." Mitten's face filled with pride and delight. She picked up a bow, adjusted the string, then notched an arrow, pulled back slowly to her cheek, took a deep breath, then waited. 2 circles of clay shot out at once, revolving around each other. She shot the arrow right through them both. Then she put 3 arrows to the bowstring, pulled back, and took that deep breath. 3 different clay circles and 3 speeds. She hit them all in one move. Lil was amazed. The woman really could shoot. Please, Mitten Haldani, do you think I could learn a weapon? You're such a skilled archer, and I was never allowed combat, but it was not because I did not wish it. You inspire me to pursue it. The woman looked pleased, and like she was trying to not be pleased at the same time. Fighting a smile, she asked what sort of weapon Lil would like to learn. Lil realized she didn't know. Her eyes looked away toward the cells for the understudies, and Demeen was standing there, watching the archery field. Lil's hand went to her mother's dagger for comfort, and then she knew. She turned to her friend, the Haldani, with a face alight. I wish to learn the way of daggers. Mitten nodded and led her to another yard away from Demeen. It was empty. There was a small bunch of raised benches overlooking it. At midday, this yard is used for dagger practice, both throwing and close combat. Then I shall be here at midday, unless my conversation with the power lasts that long. Mitten Haldani nodded again, then brought Lil inside and gave her a sponge and bowl of warm water once back to Lil's room. Lil washed herself and climbed into the bed, not knowing what else to do with herself. Mitten returned with some roast and honey biscuits. Lil thanked her, and the woman bid her to rest, then left. Lil consumed her meal greedily, and then prepared to do more than sleep.